What if the feeling you call love is not an accident, not luck, not fate, but a powerful biological force designed to transform your life? Think about the first time your heart raced for someone, the way your focus sharpened, the way their voice echoed in your mind long after the conversation ended. It felt magical, uncontrollable, almost mystical. But beneath that magic, something extraordinary was happening inside you. Your brain was lighting up. Chemicals were firing. Circuits were activating with precision and purpose. The moment you feel drawn to someone, your brain releases dopamine. This is the same chemical linked to motivation and reward. It is the reason you suddenly feel energized, inspired, awake. Love does not just make you emotional. It makes you driven. It pushes you to move closer, to learn more, to connect deeper. Your brain is marking this person as important. And then comes norepinephrine. Your heart beats faster. Your palms sweat. You replay every detail. This is not weakness. This is focus. Your brain is narrowing its attention, scanning for meaning, for compatibility, for possibility. You are not losing control. You are experiencing a system designed to prioritize connection. But here's where it becomes powerful. As you share laughter, eye contact, and vulnerability, your body releases oxytocin. This is the bonding hormone. It builds trust. It creates warmth. It turns attraction into attachment. The more positive moments you share, the stronger those neural pathways become. Repetition wires connection into your nervous system. This means love is not random chaos. It is shaped by attention, emotion, and experience. What you repeatedly feel around someone becomes the foundation of your bond. If you constantly feel anxiety, your brain associates love with stress. If you feel safety and joy, your brain links love with peace. That realization changes everything. You are not powerless in love. You are not just falling. You are participating in a biological process that responds to your focus and your behavior. When you bring curiosity instead of fear, presence instead of distraction, gratitude instead of doubt, you strengthen the chemistry that builds healthy attachment. Science shows that shared novelty increases dopamine. Trying new experiences together deepens attraction. Genuine eye contact increases oxytocin. Consistent kindness lowers stress hormones. Love grows where positive emotion is repeated. So instead of chasing intensity alone, chase quality of interaction. Instead of asking, why am I feeling this? Ask, what am I reinforcing? Because every thought you replay, every interaction you nurture is shaping your brain as a blueprint of love. This is your emotional reward for staying here and understanding this. When you grasp the science behind falling in love, you stop being overwhelmed by it. You start guiding it. You begin to recognize red flags earlier. You choose environments that foster connection. You create bonds that nourish instead of drain you. Love is not just poetry. It is power. It is chemistry meeting choice. And when you understand how your brain builds attachment, you gain something rare, the ability to love not just intensely, but intelligently. And that changes your future forever. And once you understand that love is chemistry shaped by attention, a deeper question rises, why does your heart choose one person over another? Why do certain faces feel familiar? Why does one voice calm you while another makes you restless? The answer lives in your past. Long before you understood romance, your brain was learning what connection feels like. As a child, you formed attachments that quietly programmed your nervous system. If love felt worn and consistent, your body learned that closeness is safe. If love felt unpredictable or distant, your body learned to brace for impact. These early patterns do not disappear. They echo into adulthood. Your brain craves familiarity. It searches for emotional patterns it already knows. Familiar does not always mean healthy. It simply means recognized. That is why you can feel intensely drawn to someone who triggers the same emotional rhythm you experienced years ago. Your nervous system whispers, this feels known. And known feels safe even when it hurts. But here is the empowering truth. Patterns can be observed, and what is observed can be changed. When you notice that you chase emotionally unavailable people, you are not broken. You are repeating a blueprint. When you feel anxious in relationships that are calm, you are not dramatic. You are confronting a nervous system that associates chaos with love. Awareness turns confusion into clarity. Clarity creates power. Psychology shows that similarity strengthens attraction. Shared values, shared humor, shared vision, these signals tell your brain that this person understands you. Feeling understood activates reward circuits linked to self-worth. You feel seen, validated, accepted. That acceptance becomes magnetic. At the same time, you may feel pulled toward traits you lack. Confidence can attract insecurity. Stability can attract turbulence. Your mind does not only seek comfort, it seeks completion. You are often drawn to qualities that represent growth. Love becomes a mirror, reflecting who you are and who you could become. Proximity also shapes desire. The more you see someone, the more your brain relaxes around them. Familiar faces reduce uncertainty. Repeated exposure lowers anxiety. Gradually, curiosity turns into comfort, and comfort turns into attachment. This is not coincidence. It is psychological conditioning working quietly beneath the surface. When you understand these forces, you stop asking why love feels so uncontrollable. You begin asking better questions. What am I familiar with? What am I craving? What am I trying to heal through this connection? This is where transformation begins. You are not trapped by your attachment style. The brain is plastic. It changes with new experiences. When you choose partners who communicate openly, when you stay present instead of running from vulnerability, when you tolerate the discomfort of healthy closeness, you rewire your emotional system, slowly, safely, powerfully. The person you fall for is not random. It is a reflection of your inner wiring. And that wiring can evolve. You have the ability to break cycles that once felt inevitable. You can choose alignment over intensity, stability over chaos, depth over drama. When you become conscious of why you choose who you choose, love stops being a reaction. It becomes a decision rooted in growth. And that decision has the power to change not just who you love, but who you become. And as you begin to see your patterns clearly, you start to recognize that love is not one single emotion. It is a process, a progression, a biological journey your brain is designed to move through step by step. At first, desire ignites. Hormones surge through your body, pulling you closer with urgency and curiosity. This is instinct. It is raw. It is powerful. Your body responds before your logic has time to evaluate. You feel chemistry, tension, possibility, but desire alone is not love. It is the spark, not the fire. Then attraction takes hold. Dopamine floods your reward system, and suddenly this person feels extraordinary. You think about them constantly. You crave their attention. Their messages feel like emotional fuel. Your focus narrows. Your motivation rises. You feel energized by the mere idea of them. Neuroscience shows that during this stage, the same brain circuits involved in addiction light up. That intensity you feel is your brain treating connection as a high-value reward. Serotonin levels can drop, which explains the obsessive thoughts, the analyzing, the anticipation. You replay conversations, you imagine futures, you search for signs. Your brain is trying to assess significance. Is this person worth emotional investment? Is this bond safe enough to deepen? If the connection continues with positive reinforcement, something profound begins to shift. The urgency softens, the chaos settles, attachment forms. Oxytocin and vasopressin strengthen emotional bonds. You begin to feel calm in the presence instead of anxious. Security replaces obsession. Stability replaces uncertainty. This is not the fading of love. It is the evolution of love. Many people misunderstand this transition. When the rush of early attraction slows down, they panic. They believe the spark is dying, but science reveals something deeper. The brain cannot sustain extreme dopamine spikes forever. It is designed to move from intensity to integration, from excitement to partnership. Real love is not constant fireworks. It is consistent warmth. It is choosing each other when the novelty fades. It is building trust strong enough to handle silence, routine, and reality. The nervous system relaxes because it feels safe. And safety is the foundation of long-term connection. When you understand these stages, you stop chasing endless intensity. You stop confusing anxiety with passion. You recognize that the butterflies are only the beginning. The real transformation happens when attachment grows roots. This awareness protects you from self-sabotage. It prevents you from walking away simply because things feel calmer. It teaches you to value steadiness over chaos, to appreciate depth over drama. Love is meant to mature. Just as muscles grow stronger after stress and repair, relationships grow stronger after vulnerability and reassurance. Excitement invites you in, attachment keeps you there. And when you embrace the full journey instead of clinging to the first rush, you create something rare connection that does not just thrill you, but sustains you. That is where love becomes not just a feeling, but a force that reshapes your life. And when love begins to sustain you instead of simply thrill you, something even more powerful determines its depth, emotional safety. Your brain is always scanning. Every conversation, every tone shift, every delayed response is evaluated by your nervous system. It asks one silent question, am I safe here? If the answer feels uncertain, your body tightens. Stress hormones rise. You guard your words, you shrink parts of yourself. Attraction may still exist, but intimacy cannot fully grow in defense mode. Emotional safety is not dramatic. It is subtle. It is being heard without interruption. It is expressing a fear without being mocked. It is knowing that when you reach out, someone will respond with care instead of criticism. These moments may seem small, but neurologically they are massive. Each safe interaction lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. Each validating response strengthens oxytocin, the bonding chemical. Safety builds attachment at the biological level. When someone responds consistently to your emotional needs, your brain begins to relax around them. Your breathing slows, your thoughts clear. Vulnerability becomes less terrifying. This is not weakness. This is your nervous system learning that closeness does not equal danger. Vulnerability is the gateway. When you share your insecurities, your dreams, your hidden doubts, you activate empathy circuits in the other person's brain. Mirror neurons fire. They begin to feel with you. Emotional resonance strengthens the bond. This is why surface-level attraction can feel exciting but empty. Without vulnerability, there is no deep wiring. Without openness, there is no true merging of emotional worlds, yet vulnerability requires courage. Your brain remembers rejection as pain. Social exclusion activates the same neural pathways as physical injury. That is why heartbreak can feel unbearable. But avoiding vulnerability to escape pain also blocks connection. The same openness that risks hurt is the openness that creates intimacy. You are not meant to love with armor on. You are meant to love with awareness and strength. Emotional safety does not mean perfection. It means repair. When conflict happens, and it will, the ability to listen, to apologize, to reassure becomes the true measure of connection. Repair after tension actually strengthens bonds. It teaches your brain that this relationship can survive discomfort. Consistency is what transforms attraction into trust. A kind word repeated daily, a promise kept, a calm response instead of a defensive one. Repetition wires belief. Over time, your nervous system stops bracing and starts believing. If you want deeper love, become a source of safety. Listen without preparing your defense. Validate without minimizing. Speak honestly without attacking. These behaviors are not just moral choices. They are neurological investments. When emotional safety is present, passion becomes steady instead of chaotic. Desire becomes grounded instead of desperate. You stop seeking constant reassurance because your body feels secure. And when two nervous systems feel safe together, love becomes more than chemistry. It becomes home. And when love begins to feel like home, it does more than comfort you. It changes you. It reshapes your brain in ways you may not even realize. Every repeated interaction is wiring something. Every calm conversation during stress teaches your nervous system that you are not alone. Every reassuring touch during uncertainty lowers cortisol and stabilizes your heartbeat. Over time, your body begins to associate this person with relief, with strength, with regulation. Love becomes a biological anchor. Neuroscience shows that supportive relationships improve emotional regulation. When you feel understood, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking, stays more active during conflict. You respond instead of react. You think instead of explode. A secure bond does not remove problems. It increases your capacity to handle them. Your immune system responds to love as well. Lower chronic stress strengthens physical health. Better sleep improves mental clarity. Emotional connection is not just poetic. It is physiological protection. The right relationship does not drain your life force, it expands it. This is the power of neuroplasticity. Your brain adapts to repeated experiences. If you live in constant criticism, your brain wires hypervigilance. You become tense, guarded, defensive. But if you live in consistent support, your brain wires confidence. You become open, creative, courageous. The environment of your relationship becomes the architecture of your mind. This is why choosing wisely matters so deeply. The person you allow close is shaping your internal world. Their words influence your self-image. Their reactions influence your emotional patterns. Love is not neutral. It is sculpting you every day. Healthy love can even soften old wounds. If your past taught you that closeness leads to pain, a steady and patient partner can slowly rewrite that belief. Repeated safe experiences weaken fear-based pathways. Your nervous system learns a new truth: intimacy can be safe. Connection can be stable. Support can be real. But the opposite is also true. Chronic conflict, manipulation, or emotional unpredictability elevates stress hormones long-term. Over time, this erodes emotional stability. It affects sleep, mood, and even decision-making. The science is clear. The quality of your love life influences the quality of your mental life. This awareness is not meant to scare you. It is meant to awaken you. You deserve a connection that strengthens your mind, not fractures it. You deserve a partnership that lowers your stress instead of multiplying it. You deserve love that helps you grow into your highest version, not shrink into survival mode. When you understand that love is actively rewiring your brain, You become more intentional. You protect your peace. You invest in communication. You nurture habits that create security. You stop tolerating patterns that keep your nervous system in fight or flight. Love is not just about who makes your heart race. It is about who helps your mind rest. And when your mind can rest, your full potential begins to rise. And when your mind can rest in love, you unlock something even greater than comfort. You unlock choice. The first rush of falling in love may feel automatic, but lasting love is never passive. It is built in the quiet decisions you make every single day. After the chemicals stabilize and the novelty softens, what remains is intention. What remains is commitment. And commitment is not a cage. It is a conscious investment in something that can grow beyond emotion. Your brain links shared experiences with long-term bonding. Every challenge you solve together, every goal you plan side by side, every obstacle you overcome, as a team strengthens neural pathways that associate this person with your future. The relationship becomes part of your identity. It moves from being an experience to being an extension of who you are. Gratitude plays a powerful role here. When you intentionally notice what your partner does well, your brain reinforces positive perception. Attention shapes emotion. What you repeatedly focus on expands in your awareness. If you fixate on flaws, irritation grows. If you practice appreciation, warmth deepens. This is not denial of reality, it is direction of focus. Conflict will happen. Two nervous systems, two histories, two sets of fears will collide. But conflict does not destroy love. Avoidance and ego do. When you choose to listen instead of dominate, when you pause instead of attack, when you repair instead of retreat, you teach your brain that the bond is resilient. Repair after tension actually strengthens attachment. It proves that connection can survive discomfort. Choice also means maintaining individuality. Healthy love does not erase identity. It supports growth. When you continue pursuing your purpose, your health, your dreams, you bring vitality into the relationship. Autonomy prevents resentment. Two strong individuals create a stronger union than two incomplete halves clinging for survival. Daily microactions shape long-term outcomes. A sincere compliment, a reassuring touch, a calm response during stress. These may seem small, but repetition wires stability. The brain does not measure love only in grand gestures. It measures consistency. Predictability builds trust. Trust builds depth. When you understand that staying in love is a practice, you stop waiting for feelings to guide you. You act in ways that generate connection. Behavior influences emotion more than most people realize. Loving actions reignite loving feelings. Presence regenerates closeness. Intention rebuilds intimacy. This is where maturity transforms romance. You stop chasing constant intensity. You start building enduring partnership. You recognize that passion and stability are not enemies. They are partners when nurtured correctly. You are not meant to drift through love, hoping it sustains itself. You are meant to participate in its growth. Every word you choose, every reaction you manage, every moment of patience you offer shapes the direction of your bond. Love that lasts is not accidental. It is constructed through awareness, effort, and daily courage. And when you embrace that responsibility, you move from being someone who falls in love to someone who builds it. And when you realize that love is something you build, not something you stumble into, you step into a new level of power. You stop seeing love as luck. You start seeing it as alignment between biology and behavior, chemistry and character, emotion and intention. Everything you learned about attraction, attachment, safety, and choice now comes together in one truth. Awareness transforms outcomes. When you understand how your brain bonds, you no longer confuse anxiety with passion. You no longer chase intensity at the cost of stability. You recognize that real connection feels both alive and secure. This knowledge demands responsibility. You cannot unsee your patterns once you recognize them. You cannot pretend you do not know the impact of stress, criticism, or neglect on your nervous system. You cannot ignore the science that shows repeated kindness strengthens attachment while repeated hostility erodes it. Awareness calls you higher. Look inward. Notice how you react when closeness deepens. Do you lean in or pull away? Do you communicate or shut down? These responses are not fixed traits. They are learned strategies. And what is learned can be reshaped. Neuroplasticity does not end in childhood. Your brain continues to adapt based on new experiences. Each time you choose openness over avoidance, patience over impulsiveness, you are rewiring your attachment system. This is how love becomes transformation. It challenges your ego. It exposes your fears. It invites you to grow beyond old defenses. Instead of asking whether someone else is perfect for you, ask whether you are prepared to show up fully, prepared to regulate your emotions, prepared to communicate honestly, prepared to protect the bond with intention. Love thrives where emotional maturity lives. It deepens where two people are willing to evolve, not just feel. Chemistry may open the door, but character keeps it open. Consistency keeps it strong. Courage keeps it expanding. You have the power to create relationships that nourish your mind, strengthen your body, and elevate your spirit. You have the ability to choose partners who align with your value instead of your wounds. You have the capacity to turn attraction into attachment, attachment into partnership, and partnership into growth. Falling in love is natural. Staying in love is strategic. Thriving in love is intentional. When you combine scientific understanding with daily action, you move from reacting to love to mastering it. You become someone who does not fear intimacy, but embraces it with clarity. Someone who does not run from vulnerability, but uses it to deepen connection. Someone who understands that love is not about losing yourself, but expanding yourself. The science has given you insight. Now the transformation is in your hands. You can continue repeating unconscious patterns, or you can choose awareness. You can chase fleeting intensity, or you can build enduring connection. You can let chemistry control you, or you can align it with conscious action. Love is not just a feeling that happens to you. It is a force you can shape. And when you shape it wisely, it becomes one of the greatest catalysts for growth you will ever experience. And when you finally accept that love is a force you can shape, something shifts inside you. You stop waiting to be chosen. You start choosing wisely. You stop hoping love will fix you. You start becoming whole so love can expand you. The science has shown you the mechanics. Dopamine creates desire. Oxytocin builds trust. Repetition wires attachment. Safety lowers stress. Choice strengthens bonds. But knowledge without action changes nothing. Insight without discipline fades. Transformation requires application. So begin with awareness. Observe your emotional triggers without judgment. When jealousy rises, ask what fear is underneath. When you feel the urge to withdraw, ask what vulnerability you are protecting. Curiosity disarms defensiveness. Self-awareness interrupts automatic reactions. The brain cannot change what the mind refuses to examine. Then practice intentional presence. In a world filled with distraction, attention is rare. And attention is love as oxygen. When you truly listen, when you put your phone away, when you respond instead of react, you are strengthening neural pathways of connection. Presence tells the nervous system you matter. And being made to feel that you matter is one of the deepest human needs. Choose communication over assumption. Your brain fills gaps with stories, often negative ones. If a message is short, you may assume distance. If a tone shifts, you may assume rejection. But assumptions fuel anxiety. Clarity builds security. Speak your needs calmly. Invite dialogue instead of conflict. This is not weakness. It is emotional intelligence in motion. Guard the emotional climate of your relationship. Stress is contagious. So is calm. If you regulate your tone, your breathing, your posture, you influence the nervous system of the person in front of you. Two regulated people create stability. One regulated person can begin to shift chaos into balance. Remember that growth is ongoing. Love will expose your impatience, your insecurities, your ego. Instead of resisting this exposure, use it. Every trigger is information. Every disagreement is an opportunity to strengthen understanding. Resilient couples are not those who avoid problems. They are those who repair quickly and learn consistently. You are not meant to love perfectly. You are meant to love consciously. Mistakes will happen. Emotions will flare. But intention must remain steady. When you consistently choose respect, honesty, and empathy, you train your brain to associate love with strength rather than instability. The greatest reward of understanding the science of falling in love is not control over others. It is mastery over yourself. It is the ability to respond instead of react, to choose alignment instead of impulse, to build connection instead of chase validation. You now know that love is not magic alone. It is biology guided by behavior. It is chemistry shaped by character. It is emotion strengthened by discipline. And when you align your knowledge with your actions, love stops being something that overwhelms you. It becomes something that elevates you. That is the true transformation.